Hi everyone, we're here with this month's marketing pop-up from your friends at Whole Growth Partners. I'm Jessica Jacobson, Marketing Operations and Experience Optimizer, and today we're going to be talking about maximizing sponsorships, how to get the most value from your marketing spend. Let's get started. Here's what we'll be covering today. The why, what, and how of event sponsorships. We'll give you a checklist for success. And finally, what are the signs that you've had a successful sponsorship campaign? What does done look like? So why do event sponsorships? Well, first and foremost, it's great lead generation, hopefully, of your ideal client within your target market. Great visibility of your brand and brand alignment with other sponsors and event organizers. If you're going for the sponsorship of a philanthropic initiative, it can create positive community and consumer perception of your brand. Perhaps you're supporting one of your own clients' initiatives or perhaps their business. And last of all, a great opportunity to connect with other sponsors. Need some ideas for the type of events that you can sponsor? We've got a great list here for you. Now, this is certainly not exhaustive, but meant to be more of a thought starter. So we'll jump in with something like a sporting event, supporting your favorite charity at their gala or dinner, being a speaker to an association or organization that targets your ideal client or target market. A VIP experience, whether that's walking the red carpet or doing a meet and greet with sports figures or celebrities, finding that leveled up experience for your clients is a huge win. A workshop or a class, sponsoring a conference that targets, again, that ideal client, networking sessions, executive or company events. We've heard of great ideas for executive leadership retreats and becoming the sponsor for that, or perhaps an art exhibit or gallery opening. Some good ideas here for you to consider. So you've found a great event that you'd like to sponsor. Let's talk about how you make the most out of this sponsorship. So before you say yes, ask yourself these questions. Does it help accomplish our bigger objectives? Is it connected to your larger marketing strategy? Does it help reach our target market both in high quality prospects and a lot of them? Does it provide multiple marketing touch points? Is it more than just putting your logo on a banner? Is it integrating your brand into the sponsorship as a whole and bringing it to life, allowing you to connect with attendees in multiple ways? Can it provide both frequency and duration? Can you do this year over year with consistency? Can it build off of existing relationships? Do you have a relationship with the event organizer that can be leveraged and nurtured by your participation in this sponsorship? Or are the attendees someone that you have an existing relationship with that you need to nurture and expand? Is it too available? Can just anyone jump in and have a role to play in a sponsorship? Or is it exclusive and allows for your brand to be elevated by its alignment? And is it affordable? Does it play into your marketing budget? And is it something that is prudent to participate in? We talked about the checklist for success we'd love to give you, so let's dive into that. Number one, crystallize your why. Understand why your firm is going to benefit from this sponsorship. Determine why you should be a sponsor and what you expect to gain as a sponsor. Be specific as possible, including the metrics if it's possible. So for example, if it's a medical conference, your goal could be to meet 20 physicians within a certain practice. Or maybe it's connect with 10 of the other event sponsors because they're related to that target market. Identify who these people are in advance and make a plan to connect with them. You really want to understand your audience. Why are people attending this event? What is their role at the event? And do they align with your target market and ideal client? Is this the type of event that those visitors are likely to attend? Negotiate early. This one is huge. Before you say yes, this is your time to ask for what you need. Ask for the benefits that will help you fulfill your goals. Do this before you say yes and commit. Maybe it's access to the attendee or the sponsor list so that you can follow up with those folks after the event. If there's something in the event package that doesn't fit your goals, ask if that can be removed and substituted with something else. Maybe you can get a better price for the package as a whole. No matter what the event organizers propose, make sure that you make this opportunity your own. Make sure it fits your brand, your goals, and your target attendees. Invest in quality on-site branding. You want to spend the money to present yourself properly. Think about ways that within that branding you can capture attendees' information. A great example is putting a QR code that they can scan and enter their contact information for later follow-up. Maybe you do a giveaway where people enter their information and they can win later. Also, putting your logo somewhere that's unexpected. So maybe outside of just the pamphlet or signage in the event, see if there's somewhere more exclusive, like at the podium, that you can ask to have some visibility. Maybe it's at a golf hole or the check-in desk, just wherever people are naturally finding their way. This is a great tip. So connect with the organizers beforehand. They are a wealth of information. They've been in charge of these events. They've seen what's worked and what hasn't in the past. Are there giveaways that attendees really love to receive? Is there something that just really fell flat in the past that you can avoid? Make sure you're picking their brain so that you can set yourself up for success. Next is solve a need. Is there something that the event needs that you can provide the answer for? So one great example of this is we had a client who was sponsoring a silent auction, and they provided all of the paddles for the attendees to use, and they had logo inclusion on that. So it was great brand visibility as everyone raised their paddle. Maybe it's something for the golf course, a divot tool. Whatever it is, just make sure that you're reaching out to the event organizer, asking what those needs are, and providing a solution for them. Plan for interaction. Now, if it's just you attending or if your entire team is attending, do some prep work in advance. Train your staff to attract and engage with specific attendees effectively. Give them some tips and tricks on what you're trying to accomplish at these events and set them up for success. This one's huge. Create and execute on a follow-up plan. Do this before the event. If the goal is to make a connection with the attendees, make sure that you're gathering whatever you need on the front end to be able to effectively follow up with them on the back end. And last, but definitely not least, is review, reflect, and measure. You've established what you intend to get out of this sponsorship. Go back and make sure that you've hit the mark. And if you haven't, that you're learning from this as something to prepare yourself better for in the future. Ask the organizer for a post-event report. How many people attended? Look at the traffic on your website. Did it increase after you posted signage with your website included? Those QR codes that you included, how many people scanned them? Have you been able to follow up with all of them? And then take this data and use it as a baseline for future sponsorships. And most importantly, did you get new business out of this? That's an easy thing to track and reflect back on. We talked about setting that follow-up plan in advance. So here's some tips and tricks on how to implement this without a lot of stress. So again, we set that strategy well before the event occurs. Why are you wanting to follow up with attendees or sponsors? Are you networking to make them part of your COI network, or are you prospecting for them as a client? Those conversations look very different, and so be prepared to have templates built for both of those conversations. The communication strategy post-event, that great to meet you email, again, maybe looks a little different for a prospect versus a COI. Make the connection before you make an ask. We feel really strongly about this at Whole Growth Partners. You want to connect with those folks as a human before you ask them for a meeting. So make it personal and make it that you're connecting with them one-on-one before you ask them for something right away. So template the language so that you can use it time and again, but remember to leave space for that personal connection and that personal interaction. And then share your involvement. Talk to your community, whether it's through social or creating an email blast, adding your involvement to this sponsorship on your website. Make sure you're telling the community what you've been up to. So what does done look like? Here are the signs of a successful event sponsorship. Number 1, did it meet or exceed your metrics? We talked about your goal setting for the top part of the event sponsorship. Did you meet those 10 physicians? Were you able to connect with all of the other event sponsors? Review those metrics to make sure that you're hitting the mark. After the event, you want to follow up with everyone. So you have created that strategy ahead of time and you've been able to execute it because it was created in advance and able to be implemented with ease. This is a huge one, that you've learned something new. What did you take away from this experience that you can bring into the next sponsorship or perhaps sponsoring this same event next year? What were the things that worked really well? What are the things that you would shift or change? And what do you need to add to your sponsorship to make it more effective for years to come? And this is a really great tip. This comes from our founder, Laura Landergott. Sometimes events don't go exactly as planned, and that's okay. If something falls through and maybe the signage didn't turn out the way that you wanted, or something didn't get implemented in the perfect way, use that opportunity to negotiate with event sponsors for future efforts, and maybe that just might turn into something that you get as a value add. So turning those disappointments into opportunities. So that's it from us this month. We've loved having you join us. For additional questions or ideas around maximizing event sponsorships, feel free to reach out to your team at Whole Growth Partners. Visit us online at wholegrowthpartners.com. Look forward to seeing you soon.